Yo, have you been? Have you been? You kwanza, like first let me ask you, Mike, You didn't you just meet this shore like 2 minutes ago?
Big shout out to my woman.
Like you guys just met
Shiko Nguru.
Yeah, you guys are cute though.
I love that.
Y'all are cute though.
Man, and your big shout out. Very soon mutaskia to
You should see the way this guy saved her on his phone.
Yo, it's on my phone. You think I'm kidding?
Like,
yo, she's like over here. She's right over here.
Yo, oh, you guys are so cute.
Yeah.
Like, I love it, man. You guys, I see you glowing. I once told you if you're a babe, I'd ask you if you're pregnant. Man. They're like, are you expecting? Because, hey, man, I never seen you this happy.
It's called a
Shout out to
circumference. If you're a big man, unajua, if you don't, you see, Kerry, let me explain to you something. What the importance of this is called a zipper pa. So when a zipper pa is this, you see, like, let's say, Kerry Martin, today, with all your money, it's okay.
Z6-pack.
If you walk, if today, Kerry, wazimu zikushike useme, with all my wealth, I'm going to go and buy myself the latest, which car do you like?
Mercedes
GLE. The late 2024. Ile ilitoka kwa duka 1 week ago.
Yeah.
Alafu ingie as you. Sindio? 6-pack na everything. Then you're trying to drive into an important office. Unajua watchman atakuuliza uliacha mheshimiwa wapi? Yes, ukikuwa na hii, ukikuwa na tumbo. Alafu kwanza ukifika pale kwa gate unafanya tu kanatoka. Unaona watchman anakufungulia anakuambia mheshimiwa, yes, thank you very much, kuja, asante sana, weka pale.
And sisi kama Gen Z tunasema reject.
Yeah, man.
So you need to have corporate circumference. This is called a bouncing castle. This is the point of happiness.
Yeah, but like, don't be too happy. You know, there's those guys who are too happy. Now they're walking, you know, like, okay, no, you know, okay. Honestly, Mike, there's a day I was telling Kerry, like, I miss the good old days, yo. Like when guys would put effort in walking. Guys used to bounce, like, walk like this, right? You're just like this. There was like a swagger bounce, right? And then, you know, depending on how shady you are, you reduce the bounce, you know, depending on how you're trying to impress.
Yeah.
And then kidogo it became, you know, guys are walking too straight, right? But then now there's this guy who has the kitambi is so nini mpaka anajishikilia hivi. Anajishikilia hivi.
I'm not saying get a kitambi.
Unajishikilia hivi.
No, you're sasa
mpaka hawezi hata smile kwa sababu skin yote isha elastica.
Let me explain. Don't get okay, no offense, but a big shout out to him, but si atukwe na tumbo kama ya tuoli. Like, just a nice one. You know, unajua ile atuoli ni extended. So hii yangu ni ile imetosha. You understand?
Yeah.
It's good enough to cuddle with, to hold like this, you feel like, I'm safe. But also good enough for me to put on a suit and the buttons actually get there. You understand? That's it. Inaitwa zipper pa.
Wow.
Ngafanya business legit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
now
happy
that
with that,
this has to be the longest conversation I've ever had about kitambi. Like,
yeah, I'm happy with
just
what
like,
I got.
Every man over 40 without one, tafadhali, please get one.
My dad doesn't have a kitambi. My dad is actually, my dad is like this guy.
Are you sure?
As in, since he was young. No, it's just his genetics type. I'm sure.
Grow.
But you know the way human beings were said? I'm so sure my dad sits somewhere and he's just like, Galia, that guy's kitambi shit.
So cool, man.
God damn.
Oh my God, I wish I
had that.
Can you imagine? Like,
fuck.
Like, ain't nobody wishing. Nobody.
Dad, do you usually look at other people's kitambi?
What do you mean? Like, I don't have one and I don't.
I know, I get it, because your peers.
Bro, maybe one day in future, you can't be able to hook up with babes.
Nah.
You're seeing all these people with vitambis playing golf. And you're like, you're the only guy with a 6-pack.
That's the thing that really, actually, you know, it's so interesting you say that, right? Like, so basically you're saying he should feel left out. Like, he'll be one day, he'll be there, and then he'll go home and tell his wife, babe, can you imagine everybody has a kitambi and me don't have?
I don't have a kitambi, I want one.
These are actually serious issues.
You can't make me
feed me fat.
Yeah, you can't make me feel any different.
Honestly. Like, you know, I've seen 70-year-olds in the gym trying to do like amazing shit. The other day I posted some mzae who can kick, who's just doing some amazing shit. And I was just like, guys, can you give us a break?
Saddest thing about a kitambi is like when you go to the bathroom, like if it's overly huge, you know, you can't see your member.
You just know. Look.
Unajua umeanza kupisa leo unaona ikitoka. Oh, okay. You have to start.
It can be difficult to aim.
Nimetoka Bondo. Anyway, so wacha tuseme hivyo. Let me explain. Let me explain. You see, what and by this, allow me to be a bit serious on this one. So let me explain something that's going to change with you, Kerry. Over time, what's going to happen, right, is that you'll realize that the people you're attracted to are not those people who like a six-pack. The people you're attracted to are people who mentally are on a certain level. They don't care about your six-pack. They don't care about, I don't know what, because they've got their own.
They don't mind what you
They
have.
don't mind how your body looks. They just mind how your mind works, right? And so when that time comes, I guarantee you will sit together and you'll tell me, mine is 72 inches. Yours is...
Especially when your nipples will be facing downwards.
I'll still be attracted to bodies even when I'm like
don't worry,
60,
you can
70.
pick them up at 22. Kwanza, they love you with that pot belly at 22.
Yeah. What's up with shores? Like, what is up with, like, especially when like the body has really given up? That's when you're just like, akina penda yani kwa sababu body yake haina resistance. Inini.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm just saying, because there's like, I'm just asking, help me understand. You got a 21-year-old supple body. Like that shit can run Olympics, any Olympic type, whether it's badminton Olympics, whether it's like talking Olympics, whether it's like physical Olympics. And then you're just like, I can imagine no, scroll left. Angalia kitambi, neza fit ndani na mabeshte wangu. Iyo ndo girl, I don't get it. I don't imagine he gets. That's the time you should be with that world marathon runner. Huyo mwenye long distance tula. Then when you hit 30 now, you can start losing standards. Exactly.
Why is it losing standards? What are you talking about?
Bro, if right now, I had a magic wand and I could be able to return your body to a 21-year-old.
No. Let me explain to you why.
Stop.
Let me tell you. Can I give you a better example?
Not your mind, your body.
My body. No.
You know, do you remember how you could just like wake up and you could drown 7 muzingas?
Okay, in terms of drinking.
That's what I'm saying. Bruv, there's nobody who...
Nowadays,
look, listen,
but
even that guy...
If you took me outside on Mamlaka Road, don't ask me how I know that road. Inaitwa Mamlaka Lane. Hapo hivyo University of Nairobi. Nikaa hapo nje. Nitomoe hivi nifanye tu kafunguke. Na nitembee. Na Kerry kaya inue shati hivi. Aonyeshe 6-pack yote. Aonyesha. What if I told you 80% of those women would say, who's that guy with the kitambi?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm. That's why I'm talking.
No.
Man, don't make me want
because
to do a social experiment.
we can do this social experiment.
Like I would definitely go on and do it.
But here's the thing. This is see, Mike. Yeah. It's so crazy that we have this conversation right now because this wasn't the conversation I was supposed to have. But
exactly.
The fact that I'm asking ladies, because our TA is predominantly that audience that you're talking about, and for me, help me understand, girls, like. You're going to, like, when you're 40, there'll be many, many kitambis to deal with, right? You have no option. You have no option, right? Yeah. It's just kitambis kuendelea. But you have the option of being with the Olympian, right? Like even Jesus' body, right? On the cross. It's his 18-year-old body. You know what I mean? Like they make sure to scout the 6-pack.
But don't you?
Do you know what I mean?
No.
And the V, and make sure you know what I mean? Like these things
are you dreaming about Jesus?
I'm just telling you.
Come on,
let me tell you, a lot of girls, their first wet dream involved what they could see.
Because their mothers did not let them
what
see
they could see. So uko church tu hapo unasema guy. Anyway.
No, but here's the thing. I tell you why it is. But I'm not blaming anyone in your TA. Let me tell you, if you're as a young woman, a lot of these girls are growing up right now without that security of fatherhood and everything. So a lot of them are, or even the financial freedom that, let's say, our parents gave us, right? So for them, they get that guy with the 6-pack and everything. For them, their first thing in their head is thinking, oh, he's going to play me. Oh, he's going to do this to me. But they see this guy, they're thinking, oh, this guy is probably married or probably has a shore. But you know what? If I want the latest iPhone 16 or 15, that's going to make me floss in this campus, I'm ready to roll with that guy over this guy who's actually probably better for me.
But the question here is, why is this guy even putting himself in this situation? Because, like, guys, this is the question I always ask. And I'm glad we're having it. Because if someone is 22, right? Yeah. In essence, there's a 22-year-old guy. who's her age, because our population pretty equal, right? Pretty equal. Like it's just like point something that we've missed each other. But like babes and guys, well, there's maybe let's say there's 20 girls who've turned 18. There's 20 guys who've turned 18, right? But the problem is this 18-year-old, there's Amzae.
Yeah.
Can I answer that for
you? There's a Kerry who has timed her, right? There's a Mike Mondo who has timed her. I'm giving examples. Unajua nyinyi mnafikiri mzae ni mzee wa mwenye ako white akona fudhi za white. Ni nyinyi.
Mzae akona pussycat.
And a 20-year-old in her mind, when she thinks old.
How long do you think it takes me to get a
20-year-old, when she says old, how old do you think she's thinking?
Old. She's thinking probably 30s.
Exactly. Right? That's as in, so you are the mzai she's talking about, right? So when she's talking to her friends, she's like, imagine Mbabas anakuja kunipik uko 32.
Me, I accept it. But if you want to accept it, accept it. It's
no,
very good.
But that's what I'm saying. What you said is she's leaving. She's leaving her kaboifi in campus because she's worried about being cheated on, right? But she's getting herself in a situation with a man who's married.
Okay, let me explain.
Right? He's cheating on her as he's getting into the relationship. Can I right? Yeah. But the only benefit is financial, right? That she's going to get an iPhone 15.
That's her only problem.
Right? In this whole scenario, who's the problem?
It's a babe.
The babe.
Tell me.
I think it's a babe because you're kind of confused because at the end of the day, you getting into that situation where now like you're basically just, discovering life, discovering yourself, discovering like what you've been through. You're the life that you are going through is not, or rather you're living at the time is not what you're going to go through all through. So now if you're going to go and pick the guy who's, cheating, the guy who has already lived the life and the fact that they can only provide those monetary things that you want, it'll get to a point, man, like you'd go on and basically, let me just be blunt. Your kuchi itachoka. Your body is gonna change.
Can I even
like you're gonna grow older, and then now you get to a point where now you mistook and you did not look at the guy who turned 18 at the time that you were turning 18 when you are on the same level. So your time, that guy has actually now, figured out what his life is about and actually gotten to where you would want, and actually start seeing this guy to be attractive. Itafika hiyo point sasa now, and then itafika hiyo point and that guy would not even want to look at you twice because atasema, man, like kwanza we always know you like you've been through mubabas. No. You're like that mubabas kind of baby. So now the fact that, I'm off the phase where now I'm off campus, I've got my jobo, I'm making my cash. So now you want to look at me. So now if your babe, I'm saying the problem is the babe at that point, because if you look at the two people, the guy, the 30-year-old has already lived the life. You are just trying to discover, yes, fine, you've got a brand new phone and everything, and you're getting all these perks. But now what happens when it becomes that time? So whatever you have been offering, which is your kuchi, man, like you can't even offer anymore because now,
my G.
Imepiga marathon, yani Eliud Kipchoge Olympics. Inafika point sasa now we're going to say, we're going to have a sports day and just try out and see whether at least you can get a most improved or a medal. You can't even hack it.
No, let me simplify what he said. In fact, I agree with you. Every single step of that word. And the thing is, basically what he's saying is one simple sentence. At your highest point of options, you chose the taken one. When you had all the options, when you could have gotten any person you wanted that was good for you and right by you, you chose the one that was taken because you don't believe in yourself enough to get those things that you want enough. So you picked someone who's ready-made. Uni wa mtu lakini najua atanipatia kile kitu nataka haraka na haraka sahi. So when you're young, you're 20, 21, 22, 23, my God, your options are so immense, especially as a woman in Nairobi. Let me tell you, I hate it when young girls tell me, but there's not this. Me, I'm like, bruh, if God brought me back as a woman at 20 years old, you'd be working for me. Because the options you have, everyone wants you. everyone, whether it's physically, sexually, emotionally, your brains, everyone wants you because you're prime. That's why our grandparents used to marry at 16 and all of these things. That time you're at your prime, and then you're telling me your only option is Mike Mondo, who's married to someone else. Oh, come on, man. That's a self-esteem issue. Yeah, you're not looking at the worth that you have. If you're 20, 21, 22, 23, all the way to 26, that's my cap. But then you are such a prime as a woman. Anything you want, you can get during that space.
And also throwing a spanner in the works in what you said, also, if you look at such a situation, there's that 18-year-old guy who's left out because now all the babes in campus, it gets to Friday, the big cars, the Mubabas, and everything go on and pick them up. And then now, they're left, you either choose to bash with your boys, or like you also go on and look for a babe. But now if you go and look for the babe, it is someone who's like way older, has gone through what the chicks in your campus are doing. And they've figured a point, even then they're like, you know what, this guy that I chose to settle down with, like, it's like he's still tapped on, he's figured that phase of where now he also is looking at, the 20-something-year-olds. So now it gets to that point where now you'd see, like, right now, social experiment. I do it all the time when we're on air. And a guy calls, and depending on what we're talking about, if the topic is about, getting down with an older woman who can provide for them, like they do it with a snap of a finger, like Kabisa, you
feel no
go,
guilt.
You
like
feel absolutely no guilt. That would you go down with this baby if she'd provide for you? So it's something that is happening. Yeah. But I feel it's more of ladies doing it than the guys, because as like you said, a woman in their prime, you've got way more options than the guy. For a guy, for you to be young and to be attractive to an older woman, like definitely there've got to be some things that you've got to take out, because women are picky, guys are not. Like sometimes this guy, man, like he's in a marriage where he's not even shika the wife for like for so long. Mad. And then the fact that there's this baby in campus who's like ready to give it up, like they would definitely
for an iPhone. So have the iPhone.
It's as much as I said the babe is at fault, maybe that's my PTSD, that's changing.
No.
But also there's the situation where now you'd be in a point where now you're a guy and you're starting to look at older women, because now you're saying, hey, these young ones, mazi wanapenda wa babas peke yake. So you know what, you and me, I'm going to look for someone who's serious. And the ones who are serious are the ones who've peaked at that stage.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Right? And I listened. I listened intently. I wasn't convinced. See, when you look at slavery, right? At the time for slavery, if you'd have asked the person who has a slave, why do you have a slave? They would have said, they offer affordable services. In fact, they're the ones who bring themselves because they need to eat. And so they give me this thing at $3 a day, right? Their services. Or for free, because I feed them, right? They should have standards, is what they would have said, right? If you bring it, and I'm glad you've mentioned guys also joining the fray, right? Because I've had this narrative being that the girls are the ones that are prostituting themselves. I've heard those words and, it's the girls.
Yeah, you play that part.
And both of you have at the same time said, yes, and I've said it, right? There are girls that are they don't even need to be doing it, but they're doing it. Why? Because it's an easy way, right? It's a system that we've created. Why should I work? I can do this in my sleep, right? Why should I sleep with guys? That's a power play. But that's not the majority. The majority are people who are being taken advantage of, right? And you pointed the finger at the girl, right? This girl who knows no better. Right? How does she know no better? Is it this girl that tried to extort the phone from the guy? Or is it the guy that dangled the phone?
Okay, may I answer that?
So no, it's a rhetorical question, right?
But I would.
The fact is, right? The phone came before the girl, right? Is there a girl? Okay, let me put this in a way you can understand. Is there a girl that finds older men attractive? Right?
No.
Yes, there are. Right? But is that the
Young
majority?
ones.
Yes. There are people who, like, it's their preference.
Oh, like,
they
okay,
do
fine.
find older men attractive.
Minority.
But are those the majority? No.
It's a minority.
It's a money thing, right? Which means the carrot came before the rabbit.
Yeah.
You dangled the carrot, so girls knew that this was an option. So the issue here is not the girls who are the problem. It is the older men who have the extra finances, who can be able to finance this situation that have created such a situation, right? How am I categorically very clear about this? Is because men are also joining the fray, right? You've just talked about the younger men who know that these girls, they'll be with those guys. Fine. Is it these guys? Are they virgins? No, they're also shagging babes. The problem is that the money situation has been introduced. Right? So if he wants to date a babe, even if she does want to date him, right? There is a carrot that has been dangled in her face. So the person who's shagging his future is not this girl, is this older guy. The problem in this whole equation is this older guy who's greedy. Right?
Okay.
Now, how did guys become late to this party? How did guys join this party late? Why have we been calling women prostitutes? Because they've been dating older guys.
Okay.
Why men have joined this party too late, right? Young men. It's because disposable income for women has been quite a challenge. Right now, I can afford it. I can have 5 to 10 Ben 10s, right? And I can keep it private. I can give him my car to drive around and shit, right? Now we are joining the party. And what are we realizing? That also men love money. This concept that women are prostitutes because they love money is useless and stupid. Okay. Why? Let me even remove it from sex, okay? Corruption. The idea of corruption. What is it? It is a love of money. I will sell X, even if it is sexually, to be able to get the money. So this idea that young girls are just prostitutes is lies. It is the carrot that was dangled first. And so we responded to it because of different needs. And are there girls who are exploiting this? Yes. But are majority of the girls being exploited by people who are in marriages and relationships? Yes. Is our society being fucked because of that? Yes. Because guys think, it's these girls. Excuse me, sir, aren't you married? Why the hell are you going to look for a young girl with your money in campus? Right? Because you think it is a toy. When we started this conversation, you told me about Thailand, right? And how you can go pay for these services. You can pay for them. Here, you don't want to pay for the services. You want to go and take someone's child, even your own friend's child, right? And introduce her to a lifestyle. And once she's in there, you say stuff like, her vagina will be used, right? Listen, the boys have joined the conversation. The vagina being used is not a physical thing. It's an emotional thing. And even guys will be used, right? You have an issue with wamamas. What is it? What's your issue with wamamas? You don't have to be controlled, right? Do you think you can come from a controlled situation and be normal? Right? So this affects all of us. It's not a situation of these babes, they just love money. They can use their pudesh. There are guys out here who are financing their whole lifestyle with their dick. Come on now. Yes.
Okay, you do it. Yeah, it's quite brief. Yeah. No, you're still going to respond. I want to hear your point. It's quite brief. The reason why I'd say babes are to blame is something that you've already mentioned, as well as how it started. A clear explanation is, if you look at my geek brain, if you look at Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, when it comes to electricity, like how we got to go about and getting electricity and having this light before on for us to shoot the podcast. Thomas Edison is actually seen as the guy who started it all out before someone like Nikola Tesla, because Nikola Tesla, just perfected whatever it was. So what Thomas Edison did and did it. Boring shit aside, as you said, babes are the ones who've been doing it, right? And guys saw it and they're like, you know what? There's a gap in between. These older men, if they're hitting on chicks our age, then the older women are, left unattended. So you know what we're gonna do? Forget about the younger ones. We go for the older women. So now the fact that it started off with the babes in your age group leaving for someone else in another age group, I mean, it's the chicks who started it.
I have a question. Do these young people, no, your point is coming.
Please,
do these young people, these 18 to 24-year-olds, right? These 18 to 24-year-olds, right? So fine, I'm going for the mama, right? But do I have a young in that time shaggy?
Yes, they do.
What does that tell you?
I mean, the babes.
And the babes.
also have got a young in their
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Hold on. What does that mean? That means that this is not actually an attraction. Okay? I don't love you, nigga. I am here for your money and your influence. My nigga can't even take me for fucking lunch.
Yes. And let me tell you.
You are my teacher. Okay? You are my professor. You teach me stuff, and then I'm going to be done with you. I'm going to return you to your wife, and then I'm going to hook up with you. See that guy that usually, why does that guy? That's the one, right? No, but that's what I'm saying. Just to get to your point, you're saying that they started it. The ladies started it because they're the problem. In fact, I want to take it back.
Say they're the problem.
Not you, him. I want to take it back. I want to take it back. Let's take it back to like Egyptian times or like Roman times, right? Okay. When they used to have those orgies and shit, right? Both men and women used to participate. The elite, right? The elite. Both the women would have a male concubines, and the men would have male concubines. Do you know why male concubines are not as popular?
Why?
Do you know how many women hold wealth?
Why?
I mean,
and up until the Beijing walk, right?
Famous.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Just because one babe is famous doesn't mean she can create an industry, right? You have men who hold all the property. So the industry of sex work since the Bible times, right, has been women are the sex workers. Guys, we are in 2024. What is sex work? Is it a woman? Isn't it? Even hermaphrodites are sex workers. Tuache kufanya kitu, it's like
just to be honest.
Yes, because men own more money. It is a material thing. The moment women, listen, let me tell you something. The moment women can own more or earn more than men, what usually happens? A babe who earns more than a nigga.
Let me counter.
Does she become a sex worker?
No.
What does she do? She now pays for that one.
Let me counter your argument.
Excuse me, sir. There's nothing like women like it more. Men just didn't know that they could use their dicks as sex workers.
Allow me to ask you a question.
Ask me.
As I start my defense to your statements. Okay? Ask me a question.
I love questions.
Okay? If all women in the world earned more than men, okay? And
there'd be no men on the continent, on the planet.
Yeah. What would happen to the planet in its entirety?
Basically, first and foremost.
What do you think would happen? So all women, in fact, the female is the dominant species of the world over everything. They earned more. The only thing they needed a man for was procreation.
Okay. And here, the first thing I'd ask in this your hypothesis is, are the women aware or did it just happen suddenly?
They are aware. No.
So this has happened. This conditioning has been since time immemorial.
Full.
Like, from get, we've been knowing that this is our place.
All
right, super.
So what do you think would happen?
I think this would be a more inclusive space because women, even in their struggle, right, we think of everybody else. Men, since the beginning of earth, you've been telling us, men, God told us this is our place. This Adam, sons are the inheritors, and all they do is drink the fucking money.
Okay, sour. Thank you for your answer.
And plus, by the way, I truly believe that there'd be a farm for sperms.
Okay.
Like, I truly believe there'd be a farm where the sperms being collected.
Kerry, for you. If the world was fully dominated by men, all men, in fact, the only thing we needed women for was just their womb, how do you think the world would have turned out?
Ingekuwa inanuka.
No, just think about it.
Inanuka jasho.
We only need you for your womb. Just hypothetically.
Because nobody would ever tell the other guy, hey,
but what do you think would have happened? I just want you to imagine it. I'm not saying this is your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an imagination. So you're just thinking about it.
I honestly think it would be a very uncolorful world. Because I don't think you guys would have settled. I don't even think you'd have made furniture. You'd have made even furniture.
I honestly think that's how the world was in...
like if you needed a woman, you needed her for procreation. So all you're doing is
that's what the world has been up until 1960.
Yeah, that's how we've been.
Yeah, but no. I'm talking about it in a very one-directional mode. So I'm thinking about I need a child to continue my legacy. So you go to, let's say, a woman bank, and then you get a woman, and then you do this. Just like people go to, like, for example,
Ushago. That's what's happening. Exactly.
Let me speak.
That's Ushago.
What do you think would have
happened?
I wanted to say that when you go to shags, you see how life is in shags.
Yeah.
That's how...
What you just described.
That's how shags is, and everybody can attest to it. You go to your shags, the women are not allowed to speak. If something happens, like let's say there's a family, function, be it a Rora show, be it a funeral, be it a wedding, like anything that is about to happen, it gets to a point ati waze, decision ya waze, like it's everything from how matters are going to be conducted. The women are only set to decide on, what we are going to eat. And that's up until it gets to the point where men have provided. Okay. So, like, it would be misogynistic.
My guy, ask me. Babes wouldn't even be eating the saliva of the chicken. What at a macho?
Let me tell you. What I asked her, if women needed men and they were dominant and everything, we would have no direction. If men needed women and it was the only thing we needed from was that one thing, we would only have war.
Bro, you just opened a can
Please understand. No, it's a can of worms.
Yeah.
Where if women only needed men, it would end up being a situation of chaos. In fact, would probably be the entire world will come from one genetic species that they all believe that this is the best genetic species. If it was only men, what would happen is we will fight together and we'll burn the world.
It's true.
You understand? Because we want Kwambox, let's say, for instance, as an example.
And Kwambox, as we'd agree and just have one of you, the best sperm in a farm.
Exactly. And her, she says, me, I want the best sperm. And it's maybe neither of you. So me and you will fight. Mm-hmm. So the fact of the matter is, why I'm asking you this question is very simple. The fact of the matter is this, right? We are both individually like, have our own needs. When I talk about that young girl who wants the iPhone and the older guy, them babas, who has a kitambi, for him, buying that iPhone is an issue. So that already shows you his only need is a sexual relationship with that woman. The iPhone it's like, for example, your watchman saying niachie lunch, umempatia 500 bob, 1,000 bob. For you, it's a non-issue. Like, sawa, kula lunch. You understand? That's what it is for him. Why is it that for him? Because at home, it's not a happy environment. It's not a good environment. It's not a healthy environment. In fact, it probably, last time he got laid was I don't know how long. So he has to go here. Yeah? For the girl, we can judge her all we want, but she's been asking for an iPhone from her parents for how long? But her parents are too busy educating her. They don't have the money to buy that iPhone because I'm spending it on your school fees. But for her, as a young person who knows no better, right? I can get it easily. And all I have to do is give this babas with a kitambi something. Then I'll get it for myself. Because you understand, we've all been at that age. You understand how your edges are so raw when you want your parent to give you something and you don't get it, and how it's so raw. So even that girl is not necessarily wrong. She probably doesn't even know what she's going through. Ask her again the same question 20 years from then, if she would sleep with a guy for an iPhone. She'll tell you no. That's why I say
when it gets to that point, it's like it's
she'll tell you, hell no. Yeah, but no,
my question here
but now here's the question. Here's the pointer. Now, in that scenario, as Mias and Babas who's willing to satisfy an itch, and for her, she's got a need, right? Does the end justify the means? You've got something. Like, for example, for you right now, everyone here has a need. If you knew to get a gig that is going to pay you 1.5 million Kenya shillings for one night, and all you had to do was, for example, say that I don't like Kwambox. Does the end justify the means?
Say I don't like.
So I think
You see what I mean?
I think
So does
this
the end
all
justify the means? You have to think about
I'm
that.
glad you've asked that question, and this all boils down to everybody's morals.
Morals.
Right?
Exactly.
Morals.
Yeah.
Right? You've asked a very important question there.
Yeah.
You said one person has an itch and another one has
It's a need.
a want.
A want.
It's not a need, it's a want.
Okay.
Right?
So,
Will she die if she doesn't have the iPhone 15? No. She really won't.
She won't.
Can she really set this as a target and work towards getting it one day?
Yes, she can.
Yes. And the day when she does get that money, will she spend it on the iPhone 15? No. Right? Have you ever heard of the housing bubble?
Yes.
And the problem that Kenya is creating,
yes.
where you're buying all these freaking apartments for young babes, and now most of us can't afford fucking apartments, right? There's nothing you can tell me. There's a situation of one person who is vulnerable and one person who's taking advantage of them because they have a situation in their home that they cannot deal with as an adult.
Exactly.
As an adult.
That's a child.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the adult. The mbaba.
Oh, that mbaba.
You see,
sorry.
when you have problems in your marriage, therapy, divorce, right? Don't spread the problem.
Thank you.
That's the challenge we're having in Kenya, right?
And you
As
have
in,
opened up
because
what
I
was
asked
trying
this
to
question, right? Okay, so my dad is having issues with my mom. Then he goes and finds his friend's daughter and decides to start creating new problems, right?
Exactly.
So not just problems, intergenerational problems, right? And then you say, that girl is the Malaya. She should have known better.
Yeah, how?
No, bro.
No.
Would you date Carrie's daughter who's 20?
I would.
I mean, she's legal.
Let me tell you,
She's
I walk
legal.
into a room.
Would you
and I
date
see
his
that-
daughter if she's 20?
Never.
No.
Yeah,
Because
but
I know
for some strange reason, somebody else's daughter is a Malaya.
Yeah.
What the fuck, guys? What the fuck?
And so,
when will we start holding accountable
thank you.
the problem?
Thank you.
And I say this correctly. Are there women who are taking advantage of a system that has been created where if I can access an iPhone 15 and there's a guy who thinks I'm young enough, nigga, I'ma take that shit, right?
Get an iPhone 15.
Same
that
thing,
part, yes, they
same
are.
thing as a nigga. Same thing as
Same
guys.
thing, yeah.
If you could carry, and I say this with all respect and love. For the longest time, I have sat on radio and had guys say babes are the ones who are greedy, right? You started this conversation by saying every single day on the radio, we hear guys who are broke, who are hungry, who are having issues, right? And they're saying, if I get that mumama, I'm going to take it.
Inside.
And let me tell you, this boy's issue is not because
I like the mama.
he was broken up. No, it's not that. This issue was created, circle it back to that mubaba who couldn't figure out his marriage, who couldn't take the right steps to go therapy. He decided, you know what the answer is? I need the bosom of a young babe. Look, if you marry a young babe, I can't stop you, right?
Exactly.
If you're marrying her, I can't stop you, right? But hata wewe unafaa kujiuliza, whatever happened to African age sets? Whatever happened to that? Right? See, an age set is where you guys get married at the same age. What happened to this idea where, okay, only Maasais and Nilotic guys, I can't speak for you guys. You guys, you're weird.
Weird as
No, in a bad way. You guys are the ones who marry 9-year-olds who have been married off to a 70-year-old, right? But Bantu and Kushites, and I'm not alienating anyone, these practices are still happening in Nilotic communities. But with Bantus and Kushites, you have no excuse. Why are you going past your age set, right? Yeah. This is a babe who, and then you know the thing that really gets on my nerve, right? You'll be seated at a gathering. We'll be seated like this, right? Part of the reason why I'm a homebody, right? Is because I can't I can't for the life of me sit with you, Mike, right? And you are with somebody who's half your age, right? And even if I want to say it's love and you guys like, I can see,
you know what it's
I can see how much you've reached within yourself. There are things going wrong in your life and you've decided to put it on the bosom. The only thing she's bringing to this table is her titties and her ass, bro. And her face card is 1,000. Right? Yeah. But you shouldn't be dating this girl. You're wasting her life. You're just trying to make yourself buy yourself a goddamn teddy bear.
And let me tell you, Kwambok starts.
And I'm not judging, by the way, guys. I know I'm speaking passionately, but I'm not.
Guys, and for those who are watching this, let me explain to you. That's why I'm not judging. When I tell you that's why, for example, if me and Kerry walked up to University of Nairobi, chances are that based off what I drive or the lifestyle I live, and a lot of those girls would say, I want that guy. Now,
but that's money. That's a money thing.
And I understand that. And Kerry is handsome than me. He's fitter than me.
This is what you're saying, that guys can know other guys are cute.
But let me explain to you something.
Thank you, man.
If I walk into a room, I swear to you, and if you think this is a joke, try it out as an experiment.
Yeah.
Going to a restaurant or a club or any kind of whatever, and then you rock up, fungua your wallet, and don't even talk, right? Just tell a woman, you see this cash, right? I want to give it to you. I want us to go back to my car right now.
Hey.
They would move.
Hey, babes,
people would even, and I'm not hating on women. I'm not saying that, but they would move, not because they want to, but because they have to. The reason why they have to is based off the fact that women, for the most part, right, have been treated like commodities of our life, right? And we forget these generational issues that came down, where if your father had a daughter, they saw her like, nitampeana nitapata ng'ombe.
Yeah.
When your father, you know, that kind of thing. So to the point now that even our women that we date today, even Gen Zs that we date today, they look at it in terms of, even their mothers tell them, you need to get a guy with money. You need to get a guy who has set himself up. Like they want a ready-made man. You know what? They're not willing to work through the process. No, you as Kerry Martin need to go figure yourself out, get your shit in order. And after you get your shit in order, then come now look for her and give her baby girl lifestyle. You understand?
Yeah.
No one is growing with anyone anymore. It's a wrap.
It's a rare thing, yeah.
I know my daughter will not grow with anyone because she will grow up knowing I want a ready-made guy. So now it begs the question. If you as an 18-year-old cannot buy that girl that iPhone, if you as a 20-year-old cannot buy that girl an iPhone, if you as a 30-year-old cannot buy that girl an iPhone, you as a 40-year-old cannot do it, are you going to get that woman?
But this is, here, just let me add this.
From what she said, from what he said rather, how, and also adding on to what she said earlier, what's the solution? Like, what do you think needs to be done? Because if guys are the problem and babes are the problem, society and conditioning and the way everything has been the problem. Yes, you've got people who you're probably listening and you're living through this and you feel like, you know, there ain't no other way. You are enjoying the life and you feel you can't even fathom or consider, you know, like doing things any different. Whether you are the older one or the younger one, the babe or the guy, everybody is the problem. So now, what is the way forward for that person who feels like, you know what, I've been looking at what is going on in Nairobi and the world, and I feel like the market is dirty. I'm not gonna tarnish my sneakers.
Call a spade a spade. Kerry Martin, let me tell you what the solution is. It's very simple. Yeah? Stop looking at what he looks, at what he makes. And I'm talking about to ladies here. Not stop looking at how he looks and what he makes. Start looking at what his values are.
No, but how you
If his values are family, he will never let you sleep hungry. If his values are, he believes that as a man, I must provide and protect, he will never let it down. You see, you as a man, let me tell you, you're a big believer in family, Kerry Martin. your daughter will never lack in this world. Am I lying?
No, you're not.
I'm not lying. Sindio, my children will never lack in my life. That is a value. That's a core value. And in fact, you'd rather lose a babe if she tells you, I want you to let go of that kid. Sindio, you'd rather tell her, hey, you bounce, Basi. Leave me with my kid. Look for those values. If you can find that value in that person, imagine you've hit jackpot. The thing about money is very simple. Money is fickle. Let me tell you, if I put my mind to it, I guarantee you by 6 a.m. tomorrow, I can have 2 million shillings in my bank account. However, if I don't have values, that 2 million shillings opens the gate for me to walk out and look for 20 babes, pay each of them 100,000 shillings, yeah, and smash all of them. When you're asking about where the problem lies, I feel the problem should lie with the person with more options. And for me, it is the person who is 21, 22, 23. You have got so many options, but you're refusing to look at them. You're choosing this person who has no options. Okay? I understand. That's a quick fix. I get that. But that's why I said that, imagine if 21, 22, 23-year-old girls who can tell these mbabas, I know, you're like my friends, you're like my dad. Why are you howling at me? Imagine. And why? Because, and sorry to say this, but these men are already so messed up in their marriage. Their minds are not right. All they think is like, you know what, I'm going to buy my way into getting what I want. It's like the current government, whereby, for example, when Gen Zs are demonstrating, you're looking for a leader, I'm going to buy my way through these guys to
do a handshake.
You understand? Like, they don't have that capacity to. Because
but Mike,
dealing with shit.
Mike, I hear that part, right? But then there's something very important that you said about community, right? Does the person who's old enough to know better have a part to play? Yes. Does the community play the biggest part? Yes. Because it's been institutionalized in the things that you've mentioned. A girl will be taught things like, don't go for a broke guy, right? And believe me, it is being mentioned in the best way. In like it's not an opportunistic, like this. Parents are not saying, go and find a wash guy, go and find a rich guy. That's not what they're saying. Every parent, your parents, you want somebody who can be stable for your daughter. But then in the process, will you teach your daughter to also provide for herself?
Thank you.
Right? So there are communities that let this part down and they think, all I need to teach you is how to keep your pudesh clean, how to keep it clean shaven. In fact, I'll teach you how to wax, how to lift your boobs, right? How to have, clear skin. And these girls are being released out in the public, right? Communities play a huge part. Yes. But then there's also another part, right? There's the part of willing buyer, willing seller, which is the part you guys are caught up on, right? The willing buyer, willing seller, right? Willing buyer, willing seller. This is a girl who knows what she can get. She's playing the system. What do I mean? Like, for example, corruption. Somebody is coming to build water tanks, right? Like the story I showed you of this guy who was coming to build water tanks for thirsty Africans, right? But then his drills have been caught up here because somebody has taken this opportune time to ask for $80,000 so that they can release this. Yeah. That person is the Mubaba. Right? Yes. Is the one who's asking for the bread. That's the Mubaba who's providing an iPhone. Who's the person who needs the iPhone? The thirsty community, right? And they've seen the opportunity to get this iPhone is this person, right? So this is somebody who's playing the system, pretending like somebody who's thirsty, who has a want, and covering it up as a need. Right? So you as the Mubaba sitting there saying, oh, you want an iPhone? I'll provide it, right? Your mommy doesn't want to get you an iPhone. Here, right? That's a willing buyer, willing seller situation. That's not the majority. That's the creme on the cake. Society plays a big part in having all these other girls, right? You said something like, majority of the girls who find Mubabas are looking for sanitary towels. Do you understand me? And can you imagine somebody stepping out of their marriage, right? their marriage with another adult, right? And finding this girl, because this is a problem he can sort out. Instead, you're running away from your problem. Instead of facing your problem head on, you decide, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be your savior. I'm going to provide you with sanitary towels. If the girl was not desperate, I understand.
That's the problem.
Here's my question. Let me put it in a place where you're not a victim. Let's imagine you remember the story of the house nigger, right? There was always the one who'd be, and the field nigger and the house nigger, right? Let's imagine you're the house nigger. You're the master. I'm a house nigger. I'm this light-skinned babe. I am beautiful, right? You sleep with me. Did I ask for it? I mean, even if I'm willingly giving it to you, you're not forcing. Did I ask for it? You're taking advantage of a situation.
Yes.
That's how a mubaba should look at taking advantage of a babe who wants an iPhone. Okay? That is a scenario. No, not an iPhone, sanitary towels. The one who wants an iPhone, that is a willing buyer, willing seller. I am willing to go out for like me, if I want a Lamborghini right now, and I decide I want to sleep with a billionaire to get the Lamborghini, he's not taking advantage of me.
Are you a hoe because of it?
Yes, I'm whoring for that, right? But if I need education, school fees, and you sleep with me in the pretext that you're going to pay my school fees, and you're not paying me sex worker money, you're taking advantage of me.
Okay. And I agree with you. Box, everything you've said is true. And I agree with you. What I'm trying to project here is a very simple principle of reality vis-a-vis situations, vis-a-vis outcome.
But Mike, who creates reality?
Reality is you can create your own reality. You can. It's actually very possible. You can create the fact. You can right now tell yourself, let me tell you that you're the shit. And there's out of the 7 or 8 billion people on this planet that no one is more important than you. You can create reality.
That's an illusion.
Reality. Yeah, no.
The reality on the ground, which you're talking about.
You have to understand, reality is very fluid. You can create your own reality. He can, I can. We can create even our own reality. Reality is very fluid. But when we speak reality of circumstance, now we're talking a different thing. Now here's the situation. There's the person who is wanting that iPhone that is the most important thing in their life. And that for them, by the way, this is king. In fact, if I got it, my life is different right now. There's the person who, hey, boss, for me, if I just bought my first car, this is king. I'd be everything. Then there's the person who's saying, hey, for me, if I just got my first house, it's king, right? We all go through those values in life, whereby one, it is your personal ridiculous wants. Maybe you want a good watch. Maybe you want a nice phone. You want a nice pair of shoes, clothes, and everything. Then you want a nice vehicle to drive, to look cool and whatever. And then you want a nice digs where you say, I want to be easy. So these are all wants. Now, the thing that I complain about, and I'm sorry when I say this, is that for the person who's lived, for example, let me use this example of this tortoise. This guy who has lived, let's say 60 years, he's here, right? This guy, your needs here are very easy for him to achieve. You want an iPhone? Have. You get? You want it? Have it. Yo ni rahisi chukua. You want an apartment? I'll buy for you. Now, this is a person who wants the car. Okay? This person who wants the car needs who? Maybe someone who is... Kwa Kiswahili wanasema kuna mhudumu na kuna mfadhili. Mfadhili now is a sponsor. So this person who wants a car needs a true sponsor. Now this is a sponsor. The sponsor has come in. In fact, the needs of this person, this fossil can't. In fact, he can buy you an iPhone, he won't buy you a car. Bruh. Sindio? All of that. And then now, there's now you here. You want a house. You want all of these lovely things. Sindio? So you have to introduce, bring me your cup. So there's another guy who comes here. Now this guy can be able to give you the car, to give you the whatevers, the houses, the whole 9 yards. What do you think this lady here is thinking? I don't need to go through all of this. I need to go here. So what they do is you go directly here. Why? Because, not because it's their fault, but because out of their circumstance, they know that I don't need to sleep with this guy. I don't need to sleep with this guy. I just need to go there to get everything I want. So what happens is, even if there was this guy who's trying to work his life through to get her, she now Ruka's over here. Now she's here. He's been loving this one. He's been working hard for this one. He will never get to this one, ever, because he's already jumped there. He has to get through all these stages to be able to get her. So what do you think he does? He gets that woman who can now do the same journey for him. Mamas, he goes here. Another one, he goes here. But he will always keep his eye on here, because that's where he's trying to get.
I really like this analogy.
The thing is, people will always look for the shortest way to get to the outcome they desire. Even for you.
No.
Oh, no.
That's a moral issue.
No, I know it's a moral
shortcuts
issue.
are moral issue.
I get it this way.
But this whole description,
Yeah.
you're talking about wants, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about, I'm not talking about everyone
Needs.
in general.
You're not talking about needs. This is wants. So this is a choice. This is the willing buyer, willing seller situation.
But at the most of the time, do you think, Kwambox, when men listen to you on the radio, do you think they listen to Kwambox and then they desire the girl next door? They're desiring you.
That's their problem. That's a want.
So for him to get your attention, how many hurdles does he have to cross?
No, but Mike, I get that.
And so you have to understand.
There are two things here we're discussing.
I understand that. Just let me finish. Let me just finish, okay, on this point. The point I'm making is this. People do some things that they're not proud of. And a lot of the times when you get to your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s, you start thinking about the things that you did that you don't like. But you did them because at that time, it was the most important thing in your life. You didn't have a choice. Like, I felt like Fade doesn't understand why I don't have an iPhone. He doesn't understand. So I did what I had to do to get it. But later in life, then I realized, imagine that iPhone wasn't worth it, right? It's a learning process. That's where your point comes in. It's very crucial where you're saying, does this guy have a responsibility?
No, but Mike,
to shut it down before it goes.
But here's the question. There are two things here.
Not only be on this side, also like whoever is on this side as well, you also have a responsibility. So it works both ways. Whether you're the one providing or you're the one wanting what is being provided.
I think it's very important to mention here that there's a difference between needs and wants, right? Let me put it in a way that we can all understand. I don't care whether the person who's being dated is 18. If that's what they have gone out to search for, and the person is 50 or 60 or whatever, right? Clearly there's a power balance, right? But she doesn't need this relationship. She's going out for it. There's a bigger question of how she's been raised, whatever things she's lacking in her life that she's looking for in that situation. And it's not love. If you're 18 and if you're 60 and you're dating an 18-year-old, that 18-year-old doesn't love you, right?
Yeah,
she doesn't know. But once, right? And which you've just described, somebody wants an iPhone 15, right? And they are ready to date you to get that iPhone 15. Girl, there's no moral issue here. This is none of my business. This is none of my business. This is a willing buyer, willing seller situation. But if she is sleeping with somebody for food, so she can eat.
Yeah, that's
if you are dating a campus girl who's looking for food, right? And you say, look, take this shtick, then I'll give you the lollipop later. Bro, you are taking advantage of somebody. That is how this whole situation started. That's how this whole situation started. We've normalized it. When I was in campus, we used to look down upon babes who were doing this kind of thing, right? I've mentioned it here very openly that I did date older guys when I was in campus.
Yeah.
But there was no money involved in this. This was an experience kind of thing, you know, like the conversations that they'd have, even the English that they'd speak. No, bro. Clearly, I think I had daddy issues, but like even the English that the guy is speaking, you know, this guy's like, yo, way, utakamio something, maze, should I sign you in? And then this guy's like, yo, darling, how are you doing this afternoon?
Just the way he treats.
Just the way he's talking to me, I'm just like, utaliata jenita, darling. Ananiambia tu ndakunyandua later. I'm just do you know what I mean? Right? So you even come off as, wow, oh my God. That's a willing buyer, willing seller situation.
Yeah.
But if I needed sanitary towels,
and
you knew I needed them,
and then you
came and made yourself a friend of me so that you can have sex, and then in the process I give you, bro, let me tell you something.
Yeah. All right, so
in fact, you're a snake.
What I'm getting is if you are taking advantage of someone who wants a need, you are in the bad position. And if you're on the other side, still using this analogy of this side, I've forgotten like what this is.
Okay. No.
But if you are the one who is, let's say, you are being taken, or rather, you know that someone is taking advantage of, or you know that you are taking advantage of someone for a want, you are the one who is
responsible
in the problem.
Yeah.
So that's how you get to differentiate who's doing something wrong and
I think what she's saying is if it's something for a want and you are willing to take advantage of her for a want, then that's willing buyer, willing seller. I want to have sex, you want an iPhone. That's willing buyer, willing seller. If you needed to eat, or you needed, for example, in fact, you made it so basic to the basic. In fact, even if you needed to go to school to gain an education, even school fees, and someone took advantage of you sexually, that man is a predator.
And that's the part where most guys need to understand that a lot of the girls who are participating in these scenarios, especially campus girls, chances are they're doing it because they don't have the basics, right? And so they know that even that school fees in that school, chances are meachiwa, right? And so they have to go out and even
everything is being provided.
That is a willing, but that's what I'm saying. As in,
so that's how you get to differentiate. Sorry for cutting
if I'm going out of my way to date, and let's start from the beginning. These older guys and these younger guys and these younger babes, do they still find some younger guy and younger babe too? Exactly.
Course,
which means this isn't their. You are not the ideal situation. Like even when I was dating the older guy, the conversations are fun, but it wasn't. And I would still introduce them to my friends.
But you want to walk in public with them holding their hand and saying baby.
And plus, I didn't want you around me all the time.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? I wanted to hang out with my campus guys because there's life happening. You, when I invite you, you're just gonna sit there. Right?
Yeah.
You're a mubaba.
You won't
right?
anguka nayo.
We're not going to anguka nayo and do things like that. And when you do that, you kind of look weird, right? But as you're progressing, you know, you as you're coming into this situation, Mazi umeacha all the babes who are your age. You've gone into this situation to fit in, right? If I am the reason you're here is because you're financing something, right? Know your position. Know that you're financing something. Don't call me a prostitute because it's a willing buyer, willing seller situation.
You knew I wanted a trip to Dubai.
So the guy who's the mubaba can never be used. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, it's not used. No. How is the mubaba used? How's the mubaba being used?
That was a
You've left your marriage.
No,
You've left your nini.
There's mubabas who are not in marriages. I think there's single mubabas who are out there trying to figure out.
Yeah, but you want this young babe
out of everybody in the world.
I mean,
you went to somebody who's way young, who doesn't understand shit because you want to be the king in her life.
Oh, think about it this way.
That's just life.
Yeah. So now the older person can never be the one who's being taken advantage of.
No, you're wiser.
No.
You've had
no.
It's like you in your 40s telling me that a 21-year-old
can take advantage of you.
How?
Are you crazy?
Are you mad?
Come on.
You
now.
never know.
Oh.
So this guy.
Ukienda.
You knew what you're doing.
We did a story about this guy, this 69-year-old guy who who tried to build a house for a babe he met online, right?
Yeah.
And the moment he got into the country, like he actually realized that this babe, even their name, where she used to stay and whatnot, like it's not been real.
Bro, you're even going far.
Those guys
say this guy was not taking advantage.
Bro,
let me ask you.
The white guy.
Do you think Al Pacino is being taken
that situation was different. That babe, the gap between the two of them, when you say young, he was 69, she was in her 40s.
Yeah.
Right?
The
gap,
in your 40s.
they're within the same Nini.
Yeah.
He's not taking advantage. He's not.
Same guy.
No.
In fact, if you're 40 and you date a 70-year-old,
once you hit 35, you're not an adult anymore. I mean, you're not a child anymore.
You're a senior citizen.
You're a senior. You're an elderly. Okay? Middle age.
So
okay?
that 20-year-old gap changes.
You are responsible for the person.
Oh,
you are responsible for the person. Like, let me tell you how bad it is. That even as you walk into places,
Joe Biden.
Even as you walk into
I
places,
give you something better.
Even as you walk into places, right, with this youngin, okay, people call you, hey, Mze. It's you they talk to. They don't go to ask her stuff.
Nothing.
You understand? This is just the reality of stuff. I know we've normalized it to a place where hot young babes are liking old guys, right? And now guys now think it's normal. It's just the same way hot young guys are hollering at old babes. And now they start thinking that, these people are attracted. Everybody, like, guys, it's just LGBTQE age, right? No, it's not. No. So just to finish this conversation, you ask any older guy, right, who's broke, if he has ever gotten a young shore, drops mic.
They only go for the elder ones.
They only go for rich people, right? You have to have guap for you to be able to have access. So don't confuse that access to love.
It's not love.
Guys, don't confuse these two. These babes, all they want to do is use their pudacious. No, they are doing service to humanity. If these girls didn't date your asses, you would be dating your right palm.
If a 19-year-old
if you're right-handed
girl comes and hollers at you, please note that she's hollering at you simply because there's something she wants from you.
Ladies.
It's not that she wants you and she loves you. No, I've seen Kerry Martin. There's something I want from her as a 19-year-old.
Yeah, for real, seriously. Have you ever gone to your shags and you find this guy, right, in his hat, and he's just got this fine chores, right? Even that guy who has that hat, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. You cannot certify that. Have you ever found a homeless guy with babes?
And where?
Actually, kujifanya party. The babes just want to take their pudacious for a walk. Come on now. In fact, if these pudacious could talk, it was not you they wanted.
The pudacious want cash.
That's what I'm saying. They're just using it's the same way these guys are using their dicks, right? To get to the moolah. The society has a problem. Thank you.